Good morning, everyone, and welcome back into North Dakota today. Well, Hospice of the Red River Valley is providing healing resources for the community, including a memorial planters class. Our guest is a grief specialist at Hospice, and she will be sharing more about their programs as well as showing us how to make a planter. Welcome, Connie.
Thank you so much for having me. So glad to be here.
Yes, we're happy to have you. I'm excited to get into this, but this is a really prevalent issue during the holidays, so I'm excited to chat about it.
It is. It is very important. The holidays are, I think, a particularly difficult time for people who are grieving. That sadness that goes along with grief is prevalent all the time. But I think the holidays are especially tough because all around us there is a backdrop of busyness and festivities and planning. And so you set that sadness up against that, and it's just a stark contrast.
Yes.
It's very difficult. And the holidays are a time of gathering, reunions, and of course the absence of that loved one is all the more intensified, I think. And then there are reminders too. People might be out shopping and they'll pick up an item and they'll have that impulse to, oh, this would be perfect for, and they stop and they catch themselves and they realize that loved one is no longer there to shop for. So that's hard. And then, the practical things like our activities change, our routine is probably all out of whack. What we eat is different, what we drink is different. So all of these factors and more just kind of come into play at holiday time, and they make grieving even more difficult than it already is.
Well, and that's where Hospice comes in. You guys are creating really great resources for our community, including, keeping your hands busy with this planter class. So I'm curious, what are really the steps to creating this?
Well, this is going to be a winter memorial planter, and we do this as a hands-on project. There is something really, really critical about using our hands and feet in helping us process our grief, and there's real science behind that. But let's get this project maybe going. And during the break I mentioned some of these items are a little pokey. So gloves are a good idea, but we start with we have pots and pea gravel that have been generously donated by a local business. Lowe's came up with these items, and we start with pea gravel. Pea gravel is important because it helps to give the pot weight. It gives your components something to stick into, and so it's a good place to start. I will say you can use, depending on where you're going to place this. If you're going to place it outside, you could use something like wood mulch. You could use even just spent dirt from this summer's planting and cut that off and use that. Then you would pour in water and let it freeze.
Okay, I see.
And that'll give you weight and stability. So the first item we use, and these are the pokey ones, Sophia, are evergreens.
I'm going to help you a little bit here. I think we have about 2 minutes left, so.
Okay, so we're going to start with those.
Just anywhere?
Yep, anywhere is good. Maybe one more would be good.
Okay.
That's the pokey ones.
Yes, feel those pokes a little bit.
And then we put in, I've got red twig dogwood as branches, and I will say each of the components that we use has symbolism behind it, and we use that symbolism as a teaching, a learning moment during our class, a teaching tool.
Yes.
And so that's kind of what's different. It's not just an art project, but it is also a teaching project and a way to kind of reinforce the lessons and the concepts about grief and about healing that we want to use.
Absolutely. I think we have about 1 minute left, so if you could wrap this up.
Sure. And then we go ahead and we add
Perfect.
some branches for color.
I'm surprised how quickly this is all coming together. You know, you look at it and it looks like a lot of work, but this is really pretty simple.
And then we like to add some pine cones, and again, each of these components has symbolism and teaching behind it. You can add filler.
Cute.
That's just from the yard as well. And then a lot of people like to touch it off. You can leave it natural like this. You can also add some embellishment, and I will say the embellishments are what add the uniqueness and personalize it, and that's where we talk about the uniqueness of each individual's grief journey.
Yes.
Can even do some of that.
Well, this is wonderful, and what a great, you know, way to get our hands dirty and kind of take our mind off things in the holidays. So
it's an important thing to learn about our grief, but also how we can move forward in healing.
absolutely. So where can folks find more information about hospice?
We can have people go to our website, which is www.hrrv.org. There are links to tap into all of our offerings for classes and support groups, as well as helpful articles, information about hospice services itself. But
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Connie. This is beautiful, and thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for letting me be here.
Of course. All right, everyone, stick around. We have more North Dakota Today coming up after the break.